Hey everybody, welcome back to Divulgence. Today, I'm very excited to welcome Adam from the Truth Desk, researcher and YouTuber. What's going on, Adam? Thanks so much for being here.
Not much, man. I'm very happy you had me on.
Well, I enjoy your work. I reached out to you, I think it was over social media, because I enjoy the stuff you've posted, and then I checked out your YouTube channel. I love that. So obviously I had to meet you and have you on, and yeah, so I'm very excited. Before we get into anything, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what the kind of stuff you talk about on your show and stuff you like researching.
So I think since I was a kid, my dad always he was kind of conspiratorial and we'd watch the news and he'd tell me, well, maybe what you're seeing on the news isn't the whole truth. And I just kind of kept that with me for a while. And then, I always felt like, and I think a lot of people in the conspiracy space always felt like we were the kind of the redheaded stepchild. We didn't really talk too much in the open, but a lot of people's eyes got opened after COVID. And then, I started looking up more stuff. And, at a certain point, you feel kind of hopeless when you see the government do certain things, get away with things. One famous example is the JFK assassination. I think it's over 50% of Americans now think the government killed JFK. So you start to feel like, what can you really do? And I felt that way. And then just, maybe about 6 months ago, I said, you know what, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and I'm just going to talk about this stuff. I love to talk. And I think I can explain things to people in a way that they'll understand. So that's kind of what got me here today.
Right on, man. And I know you, obviously, I've watched some of your Epstein videos. What other stuff do you like researching? I mean, obviously, that's like such a huge thing right now, not only because of the story and everyone and everything involved, but obviously just that tranche of document dumps. It gives someone something to do, right?
Yes. Yeah. I like to look into, just like right now I'm working on a video on false flags, which would be a false flag attack is when one country does something, usually a terrorist attack, and they blame another country. A pretty big example of that, and you can look this up and see the Wikipedia page for it. It's called Operation Northwoods, where the Kennedy, the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Kennedy administration actually planned terrorist attacks. They were going to hijack airplanes. They were going to blow up bombs in American cities. They were going to kill Cuban refugees, all to start a war with Cuba. And so I've been yeah, there you go. So and this is a real thing. The leaders of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines approved this. JFK rejected it. So if JFK had signed this, we would have had basically a 9/11 style event happen in 1962 or 63, and we would have had a war with Cuba. It's only because of JFK that this plan didn't happen. So this is the kind of stuff that I like to look into. And this is actually one of my biggest, red pill moments, so to say, when I read that our government was planning on blowing up bombs in cities and killing Americans. And it was like, at that point in my head, this is just my opinion, but I said, holy shit, they faked 9/11, so.
Yeah, I was very young, pretty young. Yeah, very young when 9/11 happened, and in the pursuing years. So when I started seeing, and I would be one to, even as a young age, like even before I knew the idea of like being lied to or by higher ups or anything like that, just some of the sites that I was looking at and finding, like, it was pretty wild and scary. And like as a young kid, you make some wild conclusions or assumptions. But then you start growing up, and if you do the proper research and you're responsible about your research, then you can come to some other conclusions that are still just mind-blowing, like you said.
Yep.
With government involvement, government cover-ups, and just the wide range of different people and organizations that have been involved over the years.
Well, it's games that people play to get more power, to get more money. And, I would imagine, and this is what really drives me, is just the, like, who's really pulling the strings? What's really going on behind these mainstream narratives that you hear? I would imagine this kind of shit's been going on since the ancient Sumerians, since the Roman Empire. People have probably been playing these games, lying to the public, and it's continued on to today. I will say that I think today, especially with the internet, the fact that people like me and you can do shows like this and talk about it, no one was doing this 100 years ago. You weren't buying a printing press and starting your own paper. So people think it's so much worse now. It's like, no, we're just finding out about it. It's a lot better now, actually, I think, my opinion. But
no, good take, man. All right, so obviously we're gonna jump into Epstein for
Sure.
this show. What kind of stuff have you been looking at? Well, I guess we'll start with, when did you get into the Epstein case, and when did you start really researching the Epstein case? Let's start with that.
Gosh, I don't remember. I remember when the story first broke, when he first got arrested, and I was just
in
like,
Florida,
oh, wow.
Or New York?
New York. This would have been 2019. I remember hearing about it. I remember when he died, and the story was pretty quiet for a while. And then with the run up to and I was always kind of interested in it. I never really looked it up that much, but one of Trump's campaign promises was he was going to release the files. And when he got in, and when that started to not happen, and when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, I guess he's back to podcasting now, but he used to have a podcast, and he talked a lot about this, about how Epstein didn't kill himself, all this kind of stuff. And then they get in, and they had that interview, and Dan Bongino's head looks like he's going to explode. And he's like, he killed himself. But, I was like, okay, what's really going on here? And to truly understand it and wrap your head around it, it takes hours and hours worth of research and looking stuff up. And the more I dug into it and I'd find something, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy. And then I'd keep looking, and, so I would say since the Trump election, what really got me was the fact that his island wasn't raided for 5 weeks after his arrest. So he was arrested.
Ask you about that. Yep.
Yeah, man. It's that because when you watch when the FBI raids somebody, they raid your house and your place of business and whatever, everything associated with you, they raid all at once. And the fact that they waited 5 weeks to raid Epstein's island is just mind blowing. And when I found that out, it was like, okay, there's definitely a cover up going on here.
So talk a little bit about, have you done any research into, I think you have, you've talked a little bit about in your videos about like the cleansing and staging of the crime scene, or the scene, so to speak, of the island. And obviously they had a 5-week window to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah. So the footage that you're referring to, it's the Rusty Shackelford footage. There was, after Epstein got arrested, there was a guy named Rusty Shackelford. That's a pseudonym. Actually, it's a character from King of the Hill.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's Dale Gribble's alias. So this guy, Rusty Shackelford, I assume he's a military vet that lives down in the U.S. Virgin Islands. This is when the Q stuff started happening. I don't want to say certain words to trigger filters, but I think he was involved in that. And a lot of people thought Epstein was involved in this, global pedophile ring. So he starts flying a drone over Epstein Island every day to see what's going on. And the police raid didn't happen for 5 weeks. So during this time where he's flying this drone over, you can see the employees get deliveries of things. You can see a complete remodel happen in his kitchen, where you can see painter's tape and shop vacs in there. And we only get a few window, like 3 minutes every day for 5 weeks. So who knows what else went on out there, but they had plenty of time. There was a trash dump that filled up on the island that was later later gotten rid of. So, I mean, 5 weeks, they had plenty of time to go through and sanitize the island, get rid of evidence, plant evidence. In addition to his New York residence, the initial search that they did, they only had a search warrant. They didn't have a seizure warrant. So the FBI, Epstein was arrested in New York on the tarmac of an airport, searched his plane. They went to his New York residence, and they could only take pictures of evidence. They couldn't actually seize anything. They take pictures of all this stuff in his New York residence, and then they leave. They don't guard the house. They come back 2 days later with a proper warrant, and certain things are missing. So that was his New York residence. Island, they waited 5 weeks. Zorro Ranch, they never raided, which in the new Epstein file release, we can see evidence of girls being abused there, underage girls. So government had evidence of crimes happening there. They never raided Zorro. He had a house in Ohio that was gifted to him by Les Wexner. That was never raided. And his Palm Beach residence was never raided. And also he had a Paris apartment that the French authorities didn't raid until after his death. So huge. I mean, the only explanation you can come up with is either he had blackmail material on people really high up in the government, or he was working for an intelligence agency, CIA, Mossad, both. Who knows? But it's got to be one of the two. It's not just the prosecutors and the judicial system. All they do all day long is stick it to criminals. I mean, they love doing it. If you've been and for them to not do something like this, it's unprecedented. And his 2000, everyone talks about the 2008 sweetheart deal.
Right.
Again, that there was no reason to give him that. The crimes and the evidence that they had, the FBI put together a 54-page indictment on Epstein. They had to dedicate a team of agents. They named an entire operation. I mean, I say in one of my videos, do you know how bad you got to screw up to get the FBI to name an operation after you? It was called Operation Leap Year. So, I mean, they just had mountains of evidence. This guy should have spent the rest of his life in jail. Instead, he gets 12 weeks in Palm Beach County Jail. He has his own private wing of the jail. He's allowed work release 6 days a week for 12 hours a day, so he can leave the jail, go to his office, get these infamous massages. And I mean, he had the jail install hot water for him, so he could have hot water in his cell. I mean, just the amount of the amount of corruption with this case is just insane. And now it's come out that he had storage lockers that he moved all his stuff. I mean, that was just a few days ago. They came out and said, he rented storage lockers, hid evidence. We never searched it. So, I mean, this is just crazy. Just crazy.
Jeez. I was talking about this on the show the other day, just the thought of, all that evidence being gone, from the storage lockers. It's just, wow. But it would be nice at least to get more transparency of what the DOJ does have, right? Like there's speculations that I believe that there's might be only like 1% of the documents actually released to the public. And they've said, I think it was Todd Blanche saying like essentially all the really bad stuff, like the abuse, the violence, anything really overtly sexual, they didn't release that. So they're obviously sitting on a lot of shit. So,
well, and again, it's a lot of this stuff is going to be things that Epstein allowed to be collected. Maybe maybe you would have some emails or some text exchanges, but Epstein was, if you read and I've read a lot of Epstein communications, he's very careful about what he says over text or email. And that's just a thing. If you're involved in any sort of illegal activity, if something's put down in writing, it's there forever. I mean, we have cuneiform tablets from 7,000 years ago. So you don't put really bad shit in writing. And he's a lot of times he'll say, this isn't a conversation for email. Call me. So a lot of that stuff, while it might be interesting, really the only thing that's going to be there that Epstein couldn't do anything about would be financial information, payments, bank accounts, who paid him, where did his money go, all this kind of stuff. Senator Ron Wyden talks about a U.S. Treasury file on Epstein that details, I don't know how much, it was $100 million or $1 billion flowing from his accounts to Russian banks. So some of that kind of stuff might be interesting. But a lot of the physical evidence is going to be sanitized. So we're not going to find the videos of Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and
Trump blowing Bubba or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the evidence that we have gotten, I mean, just like, and all the lies we've been told, like we were supposed to get video footage of his cell. Kash Patel said that on Rogan, and I think they said that multiple times. Dan Bongino said that there was only one cam working in the special housing unit, even though there were actually 2 cameras recording. And I think there were about 9 that were conveniently out of order.
Yeah.
And not recording. I think I remember they said there's no one, you'll see there's no one else in the footage during this time but Epstein. We don't see Epstein, but we see people, we see movement, we see all sorts of stuff. We were told, like, you'll be given the raw footage of this, even though it's as useless as it is. I think they released 2 different versions. It turns out they were both manipulated, both in the sense that they were missing minutes or seconds. I think both minutes, but and in the sense that they were checked by experts and it was confirmed that they went through some sort of program.
Yeah, they were spliced together and edited.
Right.
But the biggest thing too is that, and this is hard to, without getting into the technicals, there's another YouTuber, he's called Dr. G Explains, and he went through and looked at, he looked at how the camera system worked. And basically what he found in there, and he went through the files too, and he found the day after Epstein died, all of a sudden one of the cameras switches over to Epstein's cell block, which that footage shouldn't exist because we were told that camera wasn't recording. What it looked like to Dr. G was, and I'm not going to spend 10 minutes nerding out on this like he did and why this is, but what it looked like to him was somebody was fiddling with the camera system because the label on the bottom of the camera didn't match what we were seeing. So someone was fiddling with the cameras on the back end and accidentally cut to Epstein's cell block for like a few seconds and then cut back. So there was some fishy stuff there. The minute missing, that probably is just some weird little stupid quirk with how the cameras work. What's really weird too is the night that Epstein died, before he went to his cell, the guards took him out of the lawyer meeting room, because if you read the Bureau of Prisons report, Epstein was just constantly meeting with his lawyers.
Correct. Yeah.
They allegedly felt bad because he couldn't make a phone call. He didn't have his inmate calling card thing set up, which a billionaire would have had this squared away. But
yeah,
so they take him into the shower area. They get a 100-foot telephone cord. They plug it into the legal line that's for talking to your lawyer, because these calls for your lawyer are unrecorded. They let Epstein make a 15 to 20 minute unrecorded phone call in the shower area, unmonitored. The guard walks away. Actually, the guard that put him there, his shift ended. So he puts Epstein in the shower to make an illegal unrecorded phone call plugged into the lawyer line. Then he's like, oh, my shift's over. He walks out. Another guard comes in, doesn't check on Epstein. Epstein said he was going to call his mom. When they dialed the phone number, a male answered, and they later found that it was a guy in Belarus, which is a country in Eastern Europe. So Epstein makes an illegal, unrecorded call to some random person in Belarus the night that he allegedly does himself in. I mean, that's wild.
Shady.
And you never hear about that anywhere. You never hear about Nobody talks about that.
No.
Isn't that weird?
Do you know, yeah, man. Do you know anything else on that yet?
About like who it was he was talking to?
Yeah, I mean,
I've heard it was.
Do we know of any like Belarus connections with Epstein that are very prominent, or?
I think it was one of his girlfriends. I think her name was Karina or something. I mean, he had. I'm not 100% on that though. But he did have a lot of Eastern European or Russian girls. Those were the girls that he really liked. Were the tall, skinny Russians, I guess. And he got a lot of them from a guy named Jean-Luc Brunel, who was a modeling scout in, I think he was a Paris modeling scout, but he was like Epstein, just a complete pervert. Lots of accusations out there against him. He got arrested after Epstein, and just like Epstein, was found dead in his jail cell from a self-inflicted wound. So common theme.
Yeah, it's and that's another thing that people don't, I guess you'd say maybe your average person just doesn't compute. So the Epstein thing just doesn't seem as crazy. I mean, as disgusting and crazy as the average person finds it, they just don't understand the levels of this fucking onion, right? It's just, it keeps going.
Yeah.
It's layers and layers upon layers and cells, and it's just wild.
Yeah, I mean, just the amount, the unwillingness of the government to prosecute him, to search his properties, to release information now. I mean, the government has just drugged their feet every step of the way back in 2006, 2007. And then, what basically happened is that sweetheart deal was so good, it was illegal. They didn't tell the victims about it. The deal itself was sealed for so long. And then, victims like Virginia Guffrey, news outlets like the Miami Herald, they just stayed on this story. And I mean, people were talking about it all like from 2010 to 2019, that this story just kept being in the, talked about. And eventually the government had to do something. It wouldn't stop. But, and another reason I say that a lot of this evidence would have been sanitized. I mean, there's clips of Trump talking about Epstein from 2015 saying Bill Clinton's, in trouble. I never went to this island. And this is when Epstein pre-arrest. The walls would have been closing in on Epstein for years before his 2019 arrest. There's, he got served a notice by his actual residence was in the Virgin Islands. He got served a notice. You can find it in the files of basically the district attorney of the Virgin Islands saying you can't leave your residence unless you let us know where you're going and blah, 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 because of your crimes. So Epstein knew the walls were closing in for years. So, this wasn't like he was just hanging out in his house and all of a sudden the door gets kicked in and, oh my gosh, and here's all this evidence. That the government and Epstein had plenty of time to sanitize this. So what we're seeing, it's not even the tip of the iceberg, the evidence that we're seeing. It's like the tip of the iceberg. So just really, really crazy when you really start to wrap your head around the levels of this cover up. It's really wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, and there's so many facets to it, right? There's there's, like you said, there's the arrest and the raids. There's this time in prison. There's the death. There's, there's the sweetheart deal and all the charges before that. There's the co-conspirator, the possibility of co-conspirators. There's the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, and then obviously there's just like all the different people, politicians, celebrities, experts, everything attached to him, and businesses that are getting sucked into it. There's just so much, right? There's just so much. I'm trying to find. Here we go. Have you? Let me pull up a photo here and ask you this one. You've seen this one? I think this was released in the last dump, if I'm not mistaken. Have you seen this photo of Epstein?
Yeah. So I actually have a video. It's going over all the evidence of Epstein.
Oh, okay.
Epstein not being the one that did himself in. I don't know. I don't want to say certain words and get this filtered, but
sure.
So in that video, there's a YouTube channel. Her name's Lauren the Mortician.
Oh, dude, you're that's literally why I brought this up.
Oh, yeah?
Let's get into it. Yeah, exactly. So, I watched the video too, Lauren the Mortician. So shout out to her. That's why I brought this up. So, this photo is so much crazier to me after watching that. Because what she's saying makes a lot of sense, and I mean she's speaking from experience and expertise of being a mortician, and this is her job. So the jaw is not relaxed.
So she said
there's too much muscle tone in the jaw, and it's not relaxed. It should be like down. The mouth, like, it seems like 11 times out of 10 almost, the mouth should be open at this point, right? She talks about how there's different methods to keep the mouth closed, and that's one of the biggest things that they deal with is keeping the mouth closed, and it opens almost not immediately, but very, very soon after death. The eyes, she talks about the eyes being hydrated. Yeah, exactly. Too hydrated or puffy or full, and as opposed to being flat. She talks about how dehydration, especially in the eye area, starts almost immediately after death.
Yeah, because you don't have blood flowing to it, and they almost immediately. Which I don't know much. I mean, I take her at her word, because she is an expert and she deals in dead bodies all day long, and I don't. Thankfully, I couldn't do that job.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But this photo really, really shocked her. And just a simple thought experiment on the whole could Epstein still be alive thing, and I talk about this in that video of did Epstein kill himself, but he would have been involved in intelligence agencies and blackmail and spy games his entire life. So he wouldn't have been a dummy that would have been like a sitting duck waiting to die in a jail cell. And with the walls closing in on him for almost a decade, he would have safeguarded himself from this happening. He would have set up what's known as a dead man switch, which a dead man switch is if hackers set them up, they can be automatic, or you can give things to a lawyer and say, if something happens to me, release this information. He clearly had blackmail material on people, and the fact that we didn't have a dead man switch go off when he was found dead in prison tells me that very likely he got switched out, fake body. They did something, and he's probably living in Israel or Southeast Asia, or I don't. If you asked me, obviously, I have no proof of this, and this is my opinion. But if you asked me, do you think he's still alive? I would say, yeah. Yeah, he's a billionaire. I mean, justice, and this is what this case really shows you, is justice exists up to a certain wealth level. And then once you're rich enough, once you're powerful enough, when was the last time you heard of a billionaire getting arrested? I mean,
I know, right? Absolutely. Billionaires, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Millionaires, it's rare. But yeah, billionaires, it just basically never happens. Yeah. I agree. I mean, just to finish up with the picture, She also talks about the skin color, which is the photo does look like it.
He looks like a raspberry.
Yeah, right. So it's very red. Like lividity hasn't taken place where the blood settles in the lowest part of the body. You can see under the nose there might be some moisture there.
Yeah, that's weird.
And she makes a comment that's very interesting, actually. Which I thought of before she said it, where she says it looks like maybe he was wearing like an oxygen mask or something, and they had just pulled it off, and that's why you see a little bit of dew, like sweat, going on there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then she makes a comment to the weird bed that he's on, and then the fact that his head is propped up. It looks like it's propped up. So like, it just, which goes to the thought that maybe it's a staged photo, right? And I still don't think we've had any other documentation on what this photo is supposed to be. I don't think it's a documentative photo. So
yeah, it looks like he's sitting on a concrete slab or something. I'm not
super sketchy. Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem with all these Epstein files is they are they're very incomplete. There's no context to them. A lot of the stuff is like you'll have one email and it's in there 15 times because it's like different snapshots. So, while they say, oh, we released 3 million files, or it's like, okay, maybe it's 250,000. It's just spread out all over the place, jumbled up. I'm going to see if I can find it might take me. I had a FBI email. Oh, here it is. So this is an FBI agent talking about exactly how they collected this evidence and how they have it organized. He says,
and this would be evidence from the raids, or this would be evidence from the dumps,
is as evidence is coming into the FBI. He says basically the way to think about it is this. Imagine if we had seized papers from approximately 100,000 filing cabinets in a dozen different office buildings, and then instead of keeping them organized or labeled by room or even by office building, all 1.3 million documents so far got dumped into one big pile, except before that, any documents that had multiple parts stapled together got separated, and then any of those documents that were larger than 100 pages couldn't be opened. He's talking about their filing system they have that can't open documents. That's what we've got just electronically. So that shows you just how disorganized, if an FBI agent was going to try to dive into these files and find something, they can't even navigate this huge mess of information they have. And I would imagine that's by design. In that email thread, they go back and they talk about they've got hard drives that are like clones of each other. So like they'll get a hard drive and they'll get another hard drive that's got the same information. And these FBI agents are just, I don't know how familiar, you are with email culture, but this is really just it's a bunch of women on there just sending emails about meetings and having meetings about emails and a lot of fluff and, adding this person, doing this. They're not really getting anything done. And, they're not, even if they wanted to get something done, they couldn't because of how much of a mess they have with all these files. So,
Oof.
And again, I think that's by design to make it confusing.
I would agree. Yeah. And there's just so many things in these emails and stuff that are throwing people off as well. For example, all the equal signs.
Yeah.
Which is just I don't know if you know about that. That just seems to be a Windows coding error when it comes to the program formatting the email so that it is nicely formatted to be printed. but it's supposed to be hidden code, obviously. But whatever code was used to hide the code was incorrect, and the equal sign is left over. I forget who didn't. There's a good YouTube video on that, and he breaks it all down. But that's the kind of the layman's term of it.
So I will say to anyone that wants to investigate this, the site jmail.world is miles ahead of the DOJ site. You can search for the DOJ site. If you search for one word, and I guess the search function's broken on that site. I don't know. I've heard that from yesterday, but everything if you search black hat, if you search for that, it has to have those two words together exactly like you typed it for it to pull up. Jmail.world will pull up everything that has those two separate keywords. And actually, there's another site, and man, I should have. I think it's called Web.
Have you used Web yet? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Web. Yeah, I just heard about that as well.
Yeah. Ian Carroll developed that with a team of devs, and I when I share this on I'll put it down in my description, because they've taken an AI, and the AI has analyzed all the Epstein files, and you can just ask it questions, and for instance, you can say, what financial dealings did Epstein have with Bill Gates or whatever, and it'll search all those files, it'll read them, and it'll pull that up for you. So much easier than navigating the DOJ site or even Jmail. So huge shout out to Web, and I think they're gonna put things like the JFK files, MLK files in there. Eventually, it's gonna be a paid service. But I mean,
that'll be good. Yeah, as long as you just got hopefully like the people doing it are trustworthy. I have heard some sketchy things. We'll talk about it more another time together. But I've heard some sketchy things about Jmail and the Wikipedia and stuff, and who created it, and doing edits and stuff. So hopefully that's why when I saw Web, I was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe this is better. This is good. So hopefully they're more trustworthy. Not to say that Jmail is no good. It's just some things that I've heard that I'd kind of have to dig a little deeper into. But
well, I mean, they could be vulnerable.
Thank God there's something though, right?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I was gonna say they could be vulnerable to hacks or something like that. I mean, you're talking about
that too. Yeah,
it's over 100 terabytes. This stuff, I believe. So
it is. Yeah.
You're either way, it's easier than the DOJ site. I thought about downloading all this stuff just to have it myself, but once I saw the volume of it, I'm like, I don't have 100 terabytes of space. I think that's how much it is. Don't quote me on that.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, 100 terabytes. No, I think it's less than that. I bought I have a 4 terabyte thing kicking around, and I was able to fit it on that. So
oh really? All the data sets, all the new data sets they came out with, and
I think the 12 so far. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh really? Cool.
Yeah. So if you want me to send you those, let me know. Because some of them are pretty small, actually. So let me know.
For sure, yeah.
Some of the other email things I wanted to ask you about is Jeffrey Epstein's use of the word "whoops." Have you heard of that? Have you seen that? Do you know anything about that? It comes up at really odd times, it seems. We'll have to look into that a little more then. Like when people die. I can't remember other circumstances.
Oh yes, someone did say something.
Whoops! He drops it it's very weird, very weird.
Well,
but who knows?
He does talk in code. And for anyone that's if you've ever talked in code, which I want to get into it too much, but I have over like email or something, and you can tell. I mean, it's unnatural the way. For instance, the biggest thing was beef jerky. Have you seen the beef
Ah,
jerky stuff?
that is
You got
next
that
on
on
my
there?
list, my
Yeah.
friend.
So
Yes.
there's one email where he's talking about like he's like pissed that he doesn't have this beef jerky.
Yeah.
And his chef is like, I'm sorry, I made beef jerky every day. It took me 30 pounds of raw beef. And so to me, beef jerky is code, raw beef is code for something. And then he says, have we analyzed that jerky at the
Yeah.
lab?
I saw that one too.
Who the fuck analyzes beef jerky in a lab? So I mean, that right there is clearly code.
I'm
And
almost thinking
who
it's
knows what they're
code
talking
for.
about.
I'm thinking it's almost I don't know what, but I'm thinking maybe jerky is code for more than one different thing. They know what they're referring to in the email, and jerky is just the word they use for code. I
Yes.
could be wrong. It could all be the same thing, but yeah, when it comes to the lab, like just taking the two stories you just gave, the lab and the chef and the raw meat, right? It's like, could that be the same thing? I wonder. Like, it could be, but it's possible. Maybe it's not, right? So
He talks about there's one where he talks about Epstein keeps beef jerky in the freezer, which I don't know. That's not. I mean, the whole point of making any kind of jerked meat is that it stays fresh, or not fresh, but that you can keep it out in the open without refrigerating it. So, but I mean, it and it
especially
was
not
his,
freezing it.
yeah, and it's his chef that's making it, so it seems that it is food related, but I don't think it is. I mean, I have my own theories on what it is, but it's just speculation. What isn't speculation though, it's to me that's clearly code. Nobody analyzes beef jerky in a lab. That's just
Right. Like, I mean, right. So yeah.
The other one is the pizza and grape soda, which
Okay. Yeah.
to me, so the only person that talks about pizza and grape soda is his doctor, Harry Fish.
Okay.
So if that was code, I know a lot of people think it is, mainly because of the Pizzagate stuff, but if that was code, it would be something that only Harry Fish was using. And I don't know. Harry Fish, if you read a lot of which I've read a lot of the text messages, he's just kind of a weird, nerdy guy. So maybe he did really just like pizza and grape soda. The one that's weird is he tells Epstein after he takes his ED medicine, Viagra,
Yeah.
to wash your hands and then let's go get pizza and grape soda. So that's kind of odd. But it is just one person that he uses that specific code for.
It could be, yeah. I mean, like, for example, like if you're a drug user, there's all sorts of different words for drugs, right? So maybe you talk one kind of slang to one dealer, and you talk another kind of slang to another dealer.
Could be, yeah.
So yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. What about the? There was one that seemed nefarious that people are kind of a lot of the more the thinkers are on the fence about is the big acid order. I think it was after his conviction.
So I think it was the day he was arrested. They ordered 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid. I might be saying that wrong, but so he did have a water treatment plant on his island. A lot of people show that image of the trap door that opens up to the ocean, and people are like, "Oh, he had an escape." Like that was a water treatment tank. And he had ordered sulfuric acid in the past for water treatment. Now I think his order was larger than it usually was, but I'm not an expert in dissolving bodies. I know sulfuric acid probably could be used for that. I think there's some other acids that maybe would work a little bit better. To me, that's not suspicious, honestly, just because, well, if you were going to get, okay, so it was for his island too. And
Yeah.
if you were going to get rid of a body, I don't know if we can talk about this stuff on YouTube, but if you were going to get rid of a body and you have an island, in my mind, you would just put it on a boat and drive 10 miles out to sea and sink it down to the bottom. And that would be much easier than dissolving it in a vat of acid on an island that you know is eventually going to be searched by the police.
Yeah. And to that point, like you were saying, he knows the walls are closing in on him. So why would he wait until then to make the order, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's why when I first saw it, I was like, oh, interesting. And then it was like, well, and then I heard about the water treatment plant, and it's like, okay. And like Steve Bannon uses the same stuff apparently. And yeah, so it's like, okay, well,
yeah, it's important to look at this stuff, and you know, it's kind of sucks, but so many content creators out there will just take something like that, the sulfuric acid, they'll throw that document up, and then they'll make like a short or something, and they'll just have their face back there, and they'll be like, this document shows that Epstein, you know, they'll point with and they'll put spooky music behind it, and then people are like, oh wow. But you're just as bad as the mainstream media who lies to people for, you know, to help those in power. You're just lying for clicks. It's like sensationalism or yellow journalism, and so many content creators do it. And I know this just from making content like that. It's hard to find things that are shocking, that are true. It's easy to take something and if you research it and you're like, okay, well, it was just water treatment stuff.
Right.
It's hard to spend an extra 3 hours to find something that's legitimately crazy to talk about. It's easy to just take that one thing and put it up and get some clicks. For instance, I made one about Jeffrey Epstein winning the Powerball.
Yep, I saw that. Yeah,
that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Yeah, that was. I remember when I first heard about the Epstein thing. That was one of the big talking points at the time, and this was well before. I don't know. This might have been around 2017, 18, give or take. But yeah, and I was like, okay, what? Like,
no, that's weird. I mean, that's clearly a bribe or probably money laundering. Epstein's expertise was tax mitigation or tax avoidance. So he's all through the 80s and 90s, he's hiding money for people, and he's finding, you know, people that make money in illegal ways. He's helping them launder it. He's helping them hide it. He's helping them find people within their organizations that are embezzling it. And so somehow in all of that, he ends up with I think it was a $20 million Powerball jackpot, because he took the big payout. The odds at the time were 1 in 20 million. So, and I was a bit of a poker player at one point. That's a negative expected value play. If the odds, let's say the big payout, you would have got 150 million, and the odds are 1 in 20 million that you win. Well, then you could say theoretically over a long enough timeline, you would make money making that bet, so long as somebody else didn't win the Powerball with you. But
okay,
billionaires like Epstein don't play the fucking Powerball. I mean, that's a thing that, you know, people like me play because it's like a pipe dream of maybe I'll get a few million. And it was cashed by a trust that Epstein owned 100%. So nobody else owned this trust. It was Zorro Trust.
Right.
So the only person that makes sense to have purchased this ticket was Epstein. And the ticket was purchased in a town of 20,000 people. It's called Altus, Oklahoma. Just some random bumfuck town in the middle of Oklahoma, nothing around except cow shit and desert. And, you know, I guess Epstein just stopped and, you know, picked up a Powerball ticket with his Mountain Dew, Slim Jim, and pack of Marlboro Reds. You know, give me a Skull Winter Green and a Powerball, he said.
Give me a skull.
Yeah. So that's crazy. And no one's, I mean, that's something the government could investigate right there. Why did he win this Powerball? Who was in charge of it? Where was this ticket bought? Let's pull the security cam footage. I mean, that's one legitimate thing we could investigate that The government just has no appetite in going down any of these rabbit holes, though.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Cash Patel rather just fly out to arrests or Olympic hockey games and just claim credit, take the spotlight, and Pam Bondi rather just go on about the Dow, and Bongino's out, and Trump rather go to war today and with Iran, and yeah, man. So it's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully we get the Hillary Clinton video ASAP. I'm sure that'll come out in the next day or so. And then
I heard she yelled. I heard one of the senators that was there said that Hillary Clinton screamed at him at one point, and so that'll be cool to see.
Interesting. And then did you see that the next day when Bill testified, they sent pizza? Somebody sent pizza? That's wild.
Yes.
That is based. That's fucking awesome, man.
That is based.
Yeah.
And
you gotta troll fucks. Fuck them, man.
To touch on that too, Bill Clinton, in my opinion, is one of the most implicated famous people in this Epstein thing. He made a comment like, "Oh, these are 20-year-old pictures." It's like, it doesn't matter. There's a picture of Clinton getting a massage in an airport terminal from a 17-year-old confirmed Epstein victim. There's like
airport terminal. Oh, on the jet, or like
no, it was a trip. It was a private airport terminal, so like a regional airport. And it was like a layover. He was flying on Epstein's plane, I believe, and getting this massage. There's 2 or 3 pictures you can see of Clinton with young women. One of them, he's doing this. He's got his fist up like this, which is how boxers take a photo. Like if you take a photo with Muhammad Ali so it's like, did he hit this woman? Like what's, and then there's, he went on trips with Epstein, and I've looked into this quite a bit, this Epstein stuff, and all the people that met Epstein say that he was like obsessed with sex. He talked about sex all the time. He would ask physicists a question about physics, and then they would get halfway through answering it, and he'd say, "Well, what does this have to do with pussy? Ha 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 ha." So he was obsessed with sex, and Epstein and Clinton met several times. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Is this the massage photo? Okay.
Yes. And Epstein visited the Clinton White House 17 times. Epstein paid for a remodel in the White House at one point. And you're telling me that Bill Clinton,
come on.
Like, he has access to the CIA, one of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world, and you can't pick up any intelligence on Epstein that he's doing these crimes. It's just bullshit. And Bill Clinton, from all accounts, is a textbook sociopath, lies all the time. I mean, just look at that video of him saying, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." If you didn't know he was lying,
that woman.
Yeah. There's the boxing photo there. So, why has he got his fist? And look at her; she looks very uncomfortable. She's got her arm kind of holding herself.
Sure, man. Like.
Yeah, that's a good one there. There's old William Jefferson.
Did you have you seen the joke meme or whatever, a post or whatever about this photo? Because the girl's head is redacted, and so was the photo, and someone released a photo of like a girl, like a real girl with 2 heads, saying that was the girl.
Yeah. No,
it's terrible to laugh at this stuff, but I mean, you got to laugh sometimes. But at least we fucking care about it, unlike other motherfucking people.
Yeah. No, all the stories you hear about Clinton, and actually in the Epstein, not this recent Epstein release, but an older one, it showed a communication. Epstein was talking to a female congressional staffer, and Epstein said that Bill Clinton, he called him MacGyver, because MacGyver could get out of any situation, right?
He called Epstein MacGyver?
Yeah. And so Epstein said, "I talked to MacGyver today," and he basically said lying comes so easy to him, it's scary, because Clinton told him something that day that he had said with the utmost of conviction the opposite a few weeks prior. So Clinton could lie so good that it scared Epstein. So anything you hear, you see Bill Clinton, and it's just, I mean, there's rape allegations of Clinton going all the way back to when he was Attorney General of Arkansas. I mean, he's just an absolute scumbag, in my opinion. I know a lot of people think he was, I mean, he was an all right president, I guess, but you know, just and that marriage he has to Hillary, it's clearly a loveless political marriage. Hillary Clinton's one of the scariest. If I ever met her, I would be genuinely terrified. She's a terrifying woman. She reminds me of you ever watch Futurama?
Oh, absolutely.
She reminds me of Mom's Friendly Robot Company.
Yeah, for sure.
Puts on that fake smile, and then she's like slapping. Yeah, look at her. Yeah. Fucking Ice Queen, man. God, look at them both, dude.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. Like,
was that the UFC guy back there?
Dana White. I'm pretty sure it is, because I've seen that photo before. I'm pretty sure that's
Dana White. Yeah, that's Dana. Yeah. And that's Miriam Adelson, one of the top.
You're right. Yeah,
pro-Israeli donor. She donated $100 billion, I believe, to Trump, or 100 million. 100 billion is probably, yeah, that's not 100 million to Trump's campaign.
Yeah, fucking lot of money, man. What was I going to say? We'll pull up for people who don't know. There's Mom from Futurama. Yeah,
there's Hillary Clinton right there. she's so nice. The thing is she puts on this fake smile, and then she's so nice in public, and then as soon as the cameras are off, she just turns into this evil witch, which is. Yeah, that's Hillary to a T, man. That's
for sure. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see when we get that footage.
You know, that YouTuber I told you about, Dr. G Explains.
Yeah, I started a video of his. I just haven't watched any yet. Yeah.
So I watched he does a lot of Epstein stuff, but I was watching Dr. G when he would do, like, he does interviews of serial killers. And he knows facial features. He knows how to analyze micro expressions. And so he's got some awesome videos. I mean, he's not paying me to say this, but man, he's got one of he does Bob Lazar, the UFO whistleblower, and the conclusion he comes to is Lazar's telling the truth. But I would really, the whole reason I'm bringing him up is I would really like to see him do a body language analysis of the Bill and Hillary Clinton depositions, which I'm sure he will. So those would be really cool to check out.
Have you absolutely. Have you seen any of the Wexner deposition hearing?
Man, that's like 4 hours. So
it was like 7 hours.
Did it really?
6:55, I think. Or no, maybe it was 4:55. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I watched maybe about an hour and a half of it. Wexner is, well, first of all, he's claimed in the past to be possessed by a Yiddish demon.
Oh, wow.
A Dubuque. Yeah. So Whitney Webb came out with that in one of her books. But yeah, he claimed in like an article in the 90s that he was possessed by a demon that causes him to just lust for more power and more control. So that's interesting guy. And he claims in that deposition that Epstein scammed him. You know, he's a billionaire and he had all these companies, but he was naive enough to hand control over to all his companies to Epstein, and Epstein just stole from him, and he was just dumb enough to let that happen. And he claims that he never saw him in a friendly setting. He never attended a party with Epstein, which there's a picture that came out of Wexner. I think it was at one of his properties, but he's holding a drink in his hand. He's smiling. Epstein's next to him.
It's at a boat launching. They get into it actually more into the deposition, because another guy actually like follows up and says, hey, wait a minute, like, what about this? Yeah, like I didn't watch it all at once, but I did watch it all. And he plays such an idiot, but he remembers the address of his dad's first store when he was 13 years old, but he can't remember how Epstein was compensated. He can't remember how much money Epstein stole. He thinks like, oh, maybe like 100 million, and then when he's told it's $1 billion, he's like, ooh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, are you like, you're that successful and smart business wise, but you're that fucking stupid and naive? Give me a fucking break, man. Give me a fucking break. And like, he's like, yeah, I went to the properties. I was there like an hour. It was there, and he's always putting it in, like, it was a crummy I went to the island for an hour. It was a crummy island, and it was a crummy ranch, and he keeps calling. And one thing that really pissed me off is that he kept harping on about how he's a con man, he's a thief. Oh, he's an Olympic con man. He's the best con man. And it's like, dude, stop trying to say that stop trying to like paint this that he was just like a con man who stole some money. Like, he tried so hard to like not getting to like the sexual realm of this disaster. And it's like, dude, you got Victoria's Secret going on and all these other brands and models, and like, don't, like, you're in this, pal. You're in this. So yeah, I really hope that's not the last we hear of him, because that deposition is just fucking ridiculous. He's like giggling his ass off like some fucking perverted freak. And I fucking hope he gets what's coming to him, man, because it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, well, Wexner was clearly the money behind the operation. When Epstein was first getting started, he took on. Well, first he was a school teacher, and then no experience. He gets fired from that job after a few years. Gets a job at Bear Stearns. Works his way up through the ranks. After like 3 years or so, he gets fired again from there, and then he starts his own consultancy, like financial consultancy business. And he takes on a few clients. One of them's Anand Khashoggi, one of the architects of the Iran-Contra affair. Right. Another one of his clients he takes on is Les Wexner, and he's like those are like two of his only confirmed clients. So it's like, yes, Epstein was a billionaire. Clearly he's got all these properties and an island, but nobody knows how he made any of this money. It's either arms trafficking, blackmail, money laundering, extortion. I mean, he was basically a gangster. He was just basically a state-sponsored gangster, in my opinion. CIA, Mossad. He probably a joint CIA Mossad operation. It's clear he had so many connections to the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak.
Yeah,
met with him almost 30 times after his 2008 conviction. There's pictures of Ehud Barak like wearing no pants on Epstein's island, holding a glass of wine. I mean, so yeah, very, very clearly, in my opinion, a state-sponsored gangster.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that like Kash Patel has a book that he put out called Government Gangsters. And he's just become a fucking gangster, and he doesn't want to actually investigate like real criminal gangsters in the government and dealing with the government. And it's wild. It's absolutely wild, man.
Kash Patel and Trump too. I don't think Trump's implicated in the files or anything, but I think they keep
scrubbing Trump out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. Like, I'm reading what's it called? All the President's Women, about Trump and essentially Trump and his relationships with women and stuff. And like, he's a pervert, man. And he likes young girls. He does like young girls, like maybe not children, but young girls, in the sense that like maybe even as young as like 13, 14, 15, and then definitely 15, 16, 17. But like when he was in his model chasing days, he was definitely chasing models that were as young as 14, 15, 16, maybe. Like I don't know if, like, I mean, if there's a 14-year-old model, maybe there's a 13-year-old model. So yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's just a bit as a big a shit, just as big a piece of shit as the
Well,
world kind of thinks he is.
I mean, it's there was that whole thing of him going backstage at one of his modeling events that he put on.
That was a regular thing he did, going backstage.
So him and Epstein had a falling out in late 90s, early 2000s. Like, Trump undercut Epstein on a property.
Yep.
Epstein was trying to buy something, and Trump came in and like basically chop bitted him and got the property. And so they kind of had a sour relationship after that. So, I mean, if there is something on Trump, it's pretty old. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. It certainly wouldn't be in the files that the government currently has. It would have been in Epstein's secret trunks that got put in the storage unit that got, who knows? Now they're in some sort of CIA file.
Yeah.
You know what? To be the president, to be
they're definitely in the CIA file,
to be in politics and be powerful, you pretty much have to be corrupted.
That could be the thing, like the main thing now that they're holding over them. It's like they already have something, but it's like, okay, well, we'll even hold this Epstein thing over your fucking head just to you can finish off the rest of your 4 years. Who knows? Like we were talking about before, who knows who's pulling the strings, right? You never know.
It's like I don't know, man. To me, if you're gonna be high up in politics, you've got to have somebody's got to have. I mean, the leaders that you see aren't the people that are making the decisions. Clearly, I mean, you think Justin Trudeau was the one calling the shots in Canada?
Like, come on, man. Absolutely, yeah. What a joke, man. What a joke.
Yeah.
Now he's banging Katy Perry. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. Barack Obama in the U.S. was just some no-name fucking senator, state senator. He served like a couple years in the U.S. Senate, and he just gets propped up. You think he's the one calling the shots? No. Who's that guy in France? Macron?
Macron, yeah.
What do you I'm curious, have you seen the whole Brigitte Macron has a dick thing? What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. Like, the investigation kind of, so it's just kind of forefronting. I'm interested to see, man. Fuck it, man. She is fucking ugly. She has a weird frame, a weird body.
A weird frame, yes.
I've seen some weird photos that just look like, sometimes you might see one or two photos of someone, and it's like, oh, it looks like she has a dick. Like, I've seen a bunch of her, and she just like. I haven't watched her special or done too much research, but when you start getting into like the family history and what the claim is, that the identity swap and stuff, and it's like, ooh, that I won't say it's impossible. Absolutely not. I will not.
Well, she comes from a very prominent family, so I haven't looked this up, but she comes from a very prominent family, and there's no pictures of her until she's like 30.
And right?
And those pictures
of pregnancy photos, no baby. Yeah.
She looks like a fuck, and the way, like you said, the frame is weird. She walks around
very weird.
She walks around like someone who's a dude. If you look at trans people that have transitioned or whatever, and you see how they kind of walk around and they're kind of awkward, and that's what she looks like. She doesn't look like her face. It's just like, yeah.
It's like, and like I saw an article about how like Macron has like some sort of like boy band, boys club thing going on in France, with like his friends and higher ups and stuff, and like I would like he looks like a fit. Maybe some people would say he's handsome. Like, he's with that guy thing. I was gonna say that guy, that thing, like him, whatever. Like, he's probably gay, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gay, and that's just an arranged thing. And he is also, you know, fucking.
Well, they met when he was like 14. Like she was his teacher, and he was legitimately like 14 or 15.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I thought it was 13, but yeah, 14,
That's
15. Yeah.
France is just such a crazy place, man. I mean, I don't know much about. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but France is just, the things that come out of there are just, you know, that's odd to me. My favorite. So speaking of chicks with dicks, I know we kind of got to wrap this up soon, but
no, we're going on for an hour now, another hour.
Yeah,
now.
chicks with dicks. Have you seen the Michelle Obama stuff? Like her dancing around, and it looks like there's something flapping around.
Yeah, yeah, that's another one that that's another one that, like, obviously her job, if there was a job, was done much better, and they obviously had a better person to work with. So yeah, that one feels like more of a joke that could, you know, it might be, you know, there's some possibility that there's possibility to it, but the Macron thing is like, that is like, it's not so much a joke, it's just funny because it's like, it's just funny because it could be very well true.
I think the Macron thing's true, and my opinion, I think the Michelle Obama thing, I think she's wearing a strap on. I think public?
In public?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because there's some lesbian chicks that do that just walk around like, you know, and I think that's what she's doing. And because I don't think she's a man or anything. That's why that theory doesn't work out like it does with Brigitte. But I think Obama's probably gay. I mean, he walks around kind of, I don't know, man.
He seems like he has a bit of a feminine swagger going, for sure. Yeah.
And there's some, God, I probably shouldn't even talk about this on
air. We talk about anything, man.
Well, the reason I'm saying this is because I haven't like independently fact checked it, but there's like a picture of Obama and George Clooney on a boat where it looks like Obama's getting blown by a dude. I've seen that on, and I don't know if it's real. And I usually, there's on so much. Boat? Yeah, they're like out on a boat. And Obama.
Okay. So, okay. So, all right. I thought, so it's not just one photo. Okay. It's like, looks like there's a bunch of photo captures here. So
yeah, there you go.
Okay. There it is. So what do we got here? What's this one? So there's other people on the boat. Don't know who. It looks like an interesting cast of characters. Yeah, it looks like a small Asian child is on there.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, I think that was a real photo. I see it all the time, but
oh, here we go. What's this?
Yeah,
conspiracy theory falsely links Obama to sexual misconduct. He's okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I need a bigger. You see, I need a clear version of that photo in the bottom right there. That's what we. Oh, here. Oh, that's Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
Did they swap it? No. Okay, no.
Him, Clooney, and then there's like a
young... so there's the kid there.
Yeah.
But I mean, his pants are up, obviously, right? I mean, could be a special pair of pants. Who knows? Interesting. Never heard of that one.
I'll have to look that one up now.
Yeah, man. Well, this was fun, dude. We'll definitely have to get you back. So yeah, let me know about next week or some of the dates I gave you, because I'd love to get you back and keep the conversation.
For sure, going. Man. This has been fun.
Yeah, man. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Before you go, Adam, can you let everyone know where to find you? Because your YouTube.
I'm YouTube at The Truth Desk. Same thing on X at The Truth Desk. I mainly do YouTube videos, just diving into conspiracies, things that the media doesn't talk about. kind of some stuff that we hit on today. So check it out, and we'll see you next time, man. It's been really great. I've had a lot of fun here.
Right on, man. I'm glad. And it's been great meeting you. So yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch, and yeah, we'll get you back very soon. So enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, all the best to you, my friend. It's been a pleasure.
All right, same, Jordan. See you later, bud.
Okay, later, pal. Well, that was great, man. I really enjoyed him. Adam, fuck, props to him. Tip of the hat.